Ever wonder why some women in their 70s are out traveling the world, playing tennis and lifting their grandchildren up off the ground with no problem at all, while others are struggling just to get out of bed and get out of a chair every day? It's not just luck. It's not just your genes. It's communication. If you're a woman between the ages of 45 and 65, I want to show you how to feel energized, excited, and capable of building a life that you truly want to live by clarifying the message you're sending to your body. You see, your body doesn't just listen to what you say to it, it listens to what you do. And every single action you take is a message. Your body is always listening and always adapting, even when you don't realize the impact of the message that you're sending. Let me show you what I mean. To start off, I want to tell you about Janice. Janice is 76 and just came home from the hospital after breaking her hip. It happened on a Tuesday morning. She had just stepped outside to take the trash to the curb. The sun was out, but the driveway was still wet from the last night's rain, and she was rushing. When her foot landed, it was half on and half off the curb. Her body didn't react the way that she hoped it would. There was no quick correction, no muscle memory to help her regain her balance. She tipped forward, and in a split second, she knew that she wasn't going to be able to regain her balance and catch herself. The pain was sharp and immediate, the kind that takes your breath away. She tried to sit up, but everything in her body felt wrong. A neighbor heard her call out and ran over to help. Janice spent weeks in the hospital. After 2 surgeries and weeks of PT, she finally returned home. After settling in, her biggest concern wasn't the pain, it was fear. What if this happens again? She said to herself. What if I can't live alone anymore? How did I get here? Janice had always prided herself in being independent and strong. But now she felt fragile and unsure of herself, even betrayed by her own body. She kept replaying the moment that she fell over and over again in her mind, trying to figure out how one small misstep turned into such a life-altering injury. But the truth is that the fall wasn't random. It was the result of years of quiet communication, hundreds of small messages sent through her everyday habits. Messages that told her body what to prioritize and what to let go of. Not through her words, but through her actions. Let's go back in time and take a closer look. For nearly 50 years, Janice worked long hours at her desk. Each day followed a familiar rhythm. She sat in the car, drove to work, and tried to find the closest parking spot to the building. Once inside, she'd head straight for her desk and settle in for the day. She rarely got up, maybe just a few quick trips to the bathroom or to heat up her microwave dinner in the break room. She usually ate lunch at her desk, answering emails between bites. Her coworkers would sometimes invite her for a walk around the building during their breaks, but she always politely declined. There was just too much to get done. After work, she'd drive straight home, make a simple dinner, and then head to the couch to wind down the evening. Then she was off to bed. She didn't have a stretch routine. She didn't do any strength training. She didn't go for evening walks or weekend hikes. In fact, outside of walking from the parking lot to the office and then back again, movement just wasn't a part of her life. So this is what her body heard based on her actions. We sit. We stay still. Movement isn't important. Strength isn't needed. So her body responded to the instructions that she gave. It let go of muscle tone so that she wasn't using. Her body didn't maintain balance because she didn't need it. It stopped protecting what it thought she no longer valued. Her body wasn't being lazy. It was just listening. Janice grew up in a household where dinner was mostly meat and potatoes, maybe some canned green beans or some canned corn on the side, more for color than for their nutritional value. So that's what she learned to cook. So as an adult, her own meals looked a lot like the ones that she grew up eating. Quick, familiar, nothing fancy, just whatever is easiest to put on the table after a long day at work. Because of the modern conveniences, dinner usually came from a box, either pulled out of the freezer or from a drive-thru. Chicken nuggets, spaghetti and meatballs, fried chicken, maybe some mashed potatoes. Casseroles were always a big hit in her family, lots of cheese and cream. Maybe some cookies and ice cream to finish off the meal. Fresh vegetables weren't a regular part of her routine. Whole grains, they were never on the list. Fermented foods, she didn't even know what they were. She wasn't trying to be unhealthy, she just wasn't interested in exploring beyond what she already knew. So Janice continued feeding her family the way that she had been fed while she was growing up. Fast, comforting, reliable foods. But day after day, year after year, her body had to start working harder to process those meals. Less fiber meant slower digestion. More unused carbs meant unstable blood sugar. And over time, her metabolism adjusted and slowed way down. As a result, this is what her body heard. Digestion isn't a priority. Nutrition absorption isn't needed. We don't need stable blood sugar or long-lasting energy. So it responded to the message it received. Her digestion slowed down, her energy levels dipped, her ability to recover after long days got weaker and weaker. Her body wasn't confused, it was just listening, doing exactly what she had trained it to do. In her early 50s, Janice got a wake-up call from her doctor. Her doctor sat her down and went through her blood work. Rising A1C levels, early signs of insulin resistance, warning signs about pre-diabetes. The advice from the doctor was simple. Try to walk a little bit more. Clean up your diet a little bit. Let's catch this before we get too far down the road. And Janice, she meant to. She really did. She even bought a pair of walking shoes and a pedometer. But they ended up in the back of the closet after just a few weeks. Why? Because life didn't slow down just because she got this information from the doctor. She was still working full time. Her kids had moved out, but now her aging parents needed support. There were bills to manage, appointments to keep, and housework that never ended. And honestly, everyone she knew was dealing with some type of health concern. High blood pressure, blood sugar issues, arthritis. She thought to herself, this is just what happens after 50, right? Janice figured this must be genetic. My mom had diabetes. My sister is on some type of medication. It's probably just my turn. She didn't really believe she had the power to change her situation. So she didn't. She kept eating the way she had always eaten. She kept sitting more than moving. She kept going without ever pausing to reassess what her body truly needed. So this is what her body heard by those actions. Movement isn't urgent. Blood sugar isn't really a concern. Let's just keep going the way that we always have. And her body followed her lead. It stopped prioritizing endurance. It let her circulation and her blood sugar control take a back seat. Her body didn't fight her. It just simply obeyed. And then one day, she stepped off the curb, and her body didn't catch her. Not because it failed her, but because it was doing exactly what she had trained it to do. Over time, Janice's body adapted to her daily choices, small, repeatable ones that quietly told her body what mattered and what didn't. Her body wasn't broken, it was obedient. Now, let's meet Lisa. She's 70, and she's also worked full-time, raised kids, and helped care for her aging parents. Life wasn't easy, but her habits sent a very different message to her body. Let's look at what she told her body, one small choice at a time. Lisa didn't have a perfect movement routine. She had a flexible one. She made it a habit to start her day with a few gentle stretches, just 5 or 10 minutes, to wake up her body and loosen any stiffness she had from the night before. Other days, it was a simple joint mobility routine or a quick walk around the block. She knew mornings didn't always go the way she had planned, so she didn't expect perfection from herself. But she did expect herself to move at least a little each and every day. During her work days, she made a point to stand up at least once an hour or so. She'd stretch her arms overhead, roll her shoulders. She did a few hip circles or walked all the way to the end of the building and back. She didn't do this because she had to. She did it because she learned how good she felt and how stiff she got when she didn't. Some days she had time for a full workout. Other days she didn't. But Lisa had a plan for both. On busy days, she'd walk 10 minutes around the neighborhood after dinner. On days when she had more time, she'd join a Pilates class or go to the gym or meet a friend to play tennis. She didn't rely on motivation. She built a system for herself. She joined clubs and groups that prioritized movement because she knew that helped her stay more consistent when she was surrounded by other women who valued movement also. One day it might be a nature walk with a friend. Another day it was dancing at a local community center. And some weekends it was gardening or hiking or simply playing outside with her grandchildren. Movement was a part of her identity, not a chore, not a box that she checked off, something she knew that would help her. She wanted her body to keep moving without fear for years to come. So this is the message her body received based on what she did every day. Movement matters. Flexibility is needed. Circulation is important. Let's keep these skills sharp. So her body protected them. It held onto balance. It kept her joints loose and her muscles strong. It stayed ready for the future activities that she wanted to have in her life. Lisa loved celebrating with the people she cared about. Dinners out with friends, birthday brunches, a slice of cake at her niece's graduation. She never cut these things out of her life because they were a part of what made life fun and enjoyable. But she saw them as special moments, not her everyday routine. During her working years, Lisa cooked at home a lot. not because she was obsessed with nutrition, but because she had learned something important over the years. When she ate meals that were full of sugar or heavy on simple carbohydrates, she felt it. Her energy levels crashed, her focus slipped. She couldn't show up for her team at work the way she really wanted to. She felt foggy, reactive, and slow, and that wasn't okay with her. She was a leader at work and at home. So she chose foods that helped her think clearly, move easily, and feel like her best self. To make that easier, she got into the rhythm of meal prepping on the weekends. Just a few hours each Sunday, chopping, roasting, packaging her meals. It didn't have to be perfect. It had to be ready when she was hungry and ready to eat. Because when meals were ready, when she was ready, she wasn't tempted to grab fast food or join her coworkers for a last-minute lunch of pizza or subs. She didn't have to rely on willpower. She had a system. Funny enough, she didn't grow up cooking, but over time, she learned. She experimented, and now she actually looks forward to cooking with her family. She finds recipes that are full of color, flavor, and energizing. She's not trying to eat clean. She's trying to eat wise. And as a result, the message her body receives from her is that we need good food to fuel us. We care about our blood sugar and our digestion. Energy matters. So her body listens, and it strengthens her digestive system. It stabilizes her blood sugar. It keeps her metabolism steady and sharp. After dinner, Lisa would often go for a walk, even if it was just 10 minutes around the block. Sometimes she'd use that time to clear her mind. Sometimes she'd listen to a podcast or call a friend. But mostly she moved because she felt better when she did. She noticed that when she walked regularly, her body felt steadier. Her joints moved easier. Her energy levels were higher. And her food digested a ton easier. And over the years, Lisa learned to listen to the signals that her body was giving her as well. If she started feeling winded going up the stairs, she didn't wait for a diagnosis from her doctor. If her knees felt stiff, her joints felt achy after sitting, she didn't assume it was just about aging. She took it as her body's way of asking for attention, and she gave it. She'd add a little more movement here and there. More stretches in the morning, more squats to support her knee health. Gentle mobility work to keep her joints familiar with the movements that she wanted to be able to do for the next 20 or 30 years. When her doctor flagged something in her blood work, elevated cholesterol, blood sugar, dysregulation, inflammation, she didn't just nod and take the prescription. She took ownership. She knew medications could help, but it wasn't the whole answer. So she'd make some small shifts and adjustments to her meals here and there, adding more fiber or more greens. She had more intention of getting better sleep and committing to increasing her intensity during the exercises she was already doing. She didn't experience panic that was born from guilt, but responded from a place of responsibility because Lisa understood something. Her body wasn't her enemy, it was her partner. And when it spoke, she listened. So this is what her body heard based on her daily actions. We care about staying strong. We care about staying mobile. We're willing to respond before things get really bad. So her body responded and helped her with these goals. It kept building endurance. It protected her joints. It stayed ready to support her through life's curveballs. Why? Because she treated her body like a trusted teammate, not an afterthought. So now when Lisa steps off the curb or hikes on a trail and stumbles, her body has an appropriate positive response. It knows what to do because she's trained it with simple, repeatable choices. Lisa didn't build her lifestyle on willpower. She didn't push herself through discipline or chasing perfection. She wasn't trying to be better than anyone. She wasn't trying to be better than her neighbors or her coworkers. She was just clear. She had a vision for the kind of life that she wanted to lead in her older years, one full of energy, mobility, independence, and joy. And she understood that the choices she made today were her way of communicating that vision to her body. So each time she moved, each time she chose foods that gave her the fuel she needed, each time she rested well or listened to the signals that her body was sending, she wasn't being good. She was saying, this is the life that I want. Please help me build it. And her body listened. It prioritized what she practiced. It held on to her strength. It protected her energy. And it kept her capable because that's what she asked it to do through her actions. When you reached 50s or 60s, you were standing at a decisive turning point in your life. You were no longer climbing the mountain of youth. You've reached the top and you were coming down the other side. How steep, how smooth, how fast your decline feels is shaped by what you do right now. Aging isn't something that you can stop, but it is something that you can slow down. You can soften the blow that aging has on your life. You can strengthen yourself for the aging process. You can choose how you meet aging. And every action you take, every bite, every stretch, every skipped meal, every good night's sleep communicates the life you want to have. It tells your body what matters and what doesn't matter, what to focus on and what to let go of. Your body is always listening, adapting, even when you're not thinking about what you're communicating to it. So the question is, are you giving your body the right instructions for the life that you actually want to live into your 70s, 80s, and beyond? Because here's the truth. This isn't about judgment. This is about possibility. If you've been sending messages that don't serve you, if your body has been adapting in ways that leave you feeling tired, stiff, or struggling, you can change the conversation. Not next year, not when things calm down, but today. You don't need a complete overhaul. You just need to choose one clear message and send that message to your body as often as you possibly can. Take a walk. Do 5 or 10 minutes of stretching. Make one meal that gives you the sense of energy instead of fatigue. Drink a glass of water. Take some deep breaths. Listen to your body's signals. Because every action is a message. And every message is shaping your future. The difference between struggling and thriving in your 70s and your 80s, it's not luck, it's not magic, it's communication. So what's the one thing that you can do today to tell your body the life that you really want to live? Tell it that I'm still with you. Let's keep going and get stronger. We've got a lot to do in our older years. If this message resonates with you, please join me for our roundtable discussion. This is an opportunity for like-minded women to come together and talk through what's getting in the way of being more consistent with the self-care practices that we all know that we need. The link is just below.